Hey guys, this is Tim with Tim Stout Associates, True North Real Estate Advisors, your trusted real estate expert for Coweta and Fayette counties. Today I have
Scott Cruikshank with Central Oregon Living, writing your story one home at a time in Central Oregon and the Great Northwest.
Scott is a buddy of mine. It's in for a couple of days, and we thought we would shoot a video and discuss the similarities and the differences of what's going on in the market on the west side of the country and the east side of the country. And you're about as far west as you can get.
Yeah, it's out there. Definitely
Bend,
Oregon in the high desert, but also into the Cascades, which stretches from Northern California all the way into Washington and close to Canada. So,
okay. Awesome. Well, the big issue here is listing inventory.
Yes.
What's it look like in Oregon?
Wow, Tim, it's very slim pickings in regards to supply, especially as we're entering usually one of the strongest cycles of the year with late spring. Right now, we just cannot keep inventory on for much longer than 6-7 days. If it's been accurately and professionally, that's why I use professional trusted realtor. If it's been marketed well, it's not going to stay on the market. A lot of times buyers, we're noticing, when they find it on their feed through their smartphone or tablet, by the time they ask about it, it's already pending.
Absolutely. Same thing here. Lack of inventory, things selling super fast. And you're talking about trusted real estate expert. One thing that we see as talk to a lot of sellers about, well, I just sold it to so-and-so, knocked on my door and sold it. And I'm like, that's great. And you feel like you've got a great price.
Yes.
A good real estate agent is going to bring that higher demand, multiple offers.
Yep.
And we're going to, the 6% you've got to pay for commission, you've actually lost, because now we're going to make you an extra 10. But that's a different story. Listing inventory. The listing inventory here, the issue is we can't build out of it. Building supplies are too expensive. It's hard to find labor to help build. It's not advantageous for a builder to build. The profit margin isn't there at the level that we need. Sellers, when they do sell, are having nowhere to go, and a lot of people have been priced out of the market because of the appreciation at such level.
Yeah, and we're seeing a lot of the same things in regards to finding additional supply through new construction. The timber prices for studs or wood studs or plywood. I mean, for where we are, I mean, we had a significant forest fire that actually created quite a bit of supply of timber for plywood, OSB, and studs. But some of those suppliers are actually holding back some of that wood because of this influx, knowing that a piece of OSB is 6 times the price now as compared to January 2020. And so we're seeing that, and yeah.
So they're leaking it out slower to keep costs high.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's your classic supply and demand, a little bit of Settlers of Catan or Monopoly, if you will.
Controlling it,
yeah. What's just really hard to see is, probably the reason why we do what we do. We get up in the morning, Tim, to be the best realtor that someone can find for our area, is that we want to help all buyers and all sellers. But they first start out as buyers, right? And those first, second-time home buyers, man, it's really hard right now.
Yeah, first-time home buyers are really having it rough in this market because buyer fatigue, as we discussed before.
Yep.
Buyer's remorse, and it's hard because as you stated earlier, when a house hits the market, we need to be seeing it fast. Not all agents, like myself, I keep it on the market for 4 to 5 days because I want to build buyer demand. I want multiple offers. I want the best possible case scenario for my seller. Not every agent thinks like that. So they take the first couple offers they get. So we have to prepare for that and get our clients in there fast, get good offers sent in, and hope to win.
Yeah, it's all about educating our sellers, but specifically on the area of buyer fatigue, to be able to educate our buyers that, hey, ideally, I'd like to get you in on your timing, on your calendar, but sometimes if they're out of area or if they're stuck at work, it might be a Skype or a FaceTime call, walking them through the home to see on a potential house that they probably need to write an offer on soon. Then seller education, you're spot on. Waiting those 4 to 6 days to see what type of offers could be selected upon that be the best. Yeah.
What in this market? Who do you think the perfect seller is for the sellers? Their perspective.
Looking at the scenario is someone can be flexible to them in, we were talking about a later occupancy, like occupying after close, but also someone who, if they need to put a little additional cash to close because maybe the appraisal wasn't fully there. Appraisal's a huge concern at this time. But I think also the buyer and the seller need to be pretty reasonable when it comes down to repair addendum requests and things like that. So
I think the perfect seller in this market, someone who has to move, someone who has the option to telework, and they can move out to a little more rural area.
Yep.
Less demand, less traffic.
Yep.
That gives them better options. As we spoke earlier, people who they can travel, like people who want to travel in RV for a couple of years, be a perfect time to cash out on high prices. They could travel, take advantage of that. People who like to retire, anybody who wants to sell to rent. That sounds counterproductive, but that's always not a bad option.
Yep.
And one thing, a perfect seller is if you have an ugly house.
It's so true.
Ugly house, hard to sell, smells, something like that. Backyard that dips out into a ravine.
Yep.
Now's the time to sell it.
It's really there is a kind of a like a high watermark, so to speak, for homes that are a little bit harder to sell. We're seeing a little bit of that, but also, for whatever circumstance that they're thinking about a transition, we are transitioning from sellers to being renters for a season time. Just like what you're saying, they're going to be traveling, seeing the sights across the United States, maybe the national parks. A couple other families are renting. One's going to be moving to Idaho next year, but while they still have their last child in high school, they're going to rent. And
they can take advantage of that.
They can take advantage of the marketplace right now.
What do you see? What do you see the timeline of the seller deficit, listing deficit, and what would have to take place to correct it?
I think we're looking at multi-year for correction to be able to replenish listing inventory supply. It's not going to happen overnight, over a week, over a month. Especially as this is the strongest time of the year, and really, it's just at such a reduction right now. And you're talking about buyer's remorse. If you have a buyer that really needs to secure a property within the next couple months, their choices are very limited. So that means their wish list of what's going to be in that future home is going to be very minimal, unfortunately. And they're going to have to make adjustments or add on to the home potentially that they're buying. But when it comes down to supply, Tim, I really think this is going to be a season of time. Also, it's going to probably be with a tampering potentially of interest rates, because that has a lot to do with it, right?
It's going to pump the brakes on the buying.
Yeah,
and I agree. I think it's definitely a multi-year thing. I think we're looking at it, which is great for sellers, and it's not bad for buyers because interest rates are so low.
Yes.
Because you hear, seller, 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 it doesn't mean it's a bad time to buy because interest rates are so low. But like you had said, we are going to have to see interest rates increase, and I think that things are going to have to be corrected from the COVID, the shutdowns.
Yes.
All the businesses get back to going, producing OSB, producing new studs, nails. Unemployment slows down the wages. People get back into the workforce and they can start building up the inventory.
Yeah.
I think for it to happen, we're going to need a slowing of purchases.
Yep.
And an increase in inventory. And I think it's a multi-year thing, but I think that's what's going to get us to normality, which is a 6-month inventory.
Yeah. We really need that healthy marketplace to where both buyer and seller have the space and time to make those calculated decisions. Because, we get to be, as realtors, the why we wake up in the morning is be the best realtor a homeowner or home buyer can find. Absolutely. In our area is we really want to make sure they're taken care of in one of the biggest decisions of their lives. And
Probably the biggest.
yeah,
Until the next time they sell.
exactly. And so those, I mean, bigger decisions take more time. And right now, it's not necessarily the case where they're able to afford that time to make those big decisions.
Do you know what I like about a neutral market the best?
What?
It takes a great agent to sell a property.
Yeah.
And that's a really good time for, right now with the market being so hot, a lot of agents who normally wouldn't do well are doing great, are doing
Yes.
good. And I'm proud of them, excited for
Yeah.
them. But for years, we were the team that's going to sell your house fast and we're top dollar, and everybody knew it. And now there's a lot of people who can move houses, which is good. I'm not saying they're getting the best service. I'm not saying they're getting top dollar, but they are moving houses. And when the market normalizes, it's going to allow teams like Tim Stout Associates, it's going to allow agents like Scott to step up and be showcased because of what we're doing and what we did over time. We're time tested.
Yeah. And to know that, I mean, you're talking about buyer exhaustion. I know a lot of realtors that aren't practicing right now in my area because they're exhausted themselves, because they've overextended themselves. They don't have the services like Tim Stout and Associates or Central Oregon Living to be able to help clients the best they should. One thing I like about the current marketplace is being able to guide buyers through homes and help identify things quicker than maybe another agent, about observing the material situation or defects on a home, so they know going in eyes wide open what they're getting into, because they may not have a couple days to be thinking about a home purchase. They only might have 3 to 4 hours to be looking at a house, or even less.
You used to could think about it. Give me a day or two. Let me think about
Yeah.
it. Now, today, the property that you want to think about tonight, somebody said that yesterday.
Yeah.
And when they make offers, they go away really fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, guys, I appreciate you tuning in. This is a national market update from Oregon to Georgia. And if you guys need anything, on the West Coast, need help with him, contact him. You're on the East Coast, contact me.
Yep.
Happy to help you. If you have questions, put them in the comments. We'll both be in and out of the comments answering questions.
Yeah. Thanks for letting me join.
Absolutely. Guys, remember, who you work with matters, and have a great day.